Hey everybody, it has definitely been quite a while since I've done an update video on my 2010 Denali road bike. And I figured seeing such a nice day outside, I figured I might as well go and do an update on it. In terms of upgrades, I haven't done any more upgrades since my previous video. And for those who are watching my videos for the first time, or seeing this bike for the first time, let me go and explain all of the upgrades I've done to it. This is a 2010 Denali road bike, picked up at a local Walmart back in early 2011. I actually have two of these. I actually have, this one, and I have a 2006 model, which is currently back there. And let's see, in 2012, I did the first major upgrade to it, which was the wheel set. Replaced the stock wheel set with this Aeromax wheel set from Amazon. Let's see, with that, I installed a 28:2:11 tooth ratio cassette, 7 gears, pretty much just like stock. Still had the stock crank set up front. I had to replace the bottom bracket at around 2,000 miles. Pretty common with these for the stock bottom brackets to fail about that time. Replaced it with a Shimano sealed bracket, and of course no more problems since. Bike currently has these Surface Seca tires. I put these on back in 2011. And I believe at the time the bike had about, I'm not really sure what the mileage is. I'd have to go inside and look. I guess what I'll do is put it in the description. But these tires have lasted extremely long. I'll get back to that in just a moment. So that means I had to replace the wheel set, replace the brake shoes at the same time I replaced the wheel set. Later on, I also went ahead and replaced the handlebars, took off that stock heavy drop bar, replaced it with a alloy bar. Got this at the bike shop for like $12. I paid, I guess, $12 to $14 for the bar wrap at REI. And at that time, I was running just steel to stock brake levers and Shimano A050 shifters. I didn't have the best luck with those at the time, so later on I replaced the shifters and the rear derailleur with a Shimano RSX derailleur and these RSX STI levers that I found off of eBay. And of course they're still holding up just fine, no problems at all. Which, by the way, this handlebar, forgot to mention, is a Raleigh, and it fits right up to the stock stem. And of course, I don't really know the dimensions right off the top of my head because the guy at the local bike shop measured this up and picked this bar up for me. And here's your good look at the bike overall. So far, those are the only real upgrades I have done to it. I have added this extra bottle cage to the seat. Oh yeah, which I replaced the seat with one that I actually installed on my blue bike, the 06, this Z-File seat from Walmart. It's a bit better than the stock seat. Now let's go and have a look at the mileage. Bike has just under 4,200 miles. My last ride was about 28 miles. Maximum speed was 29.2. I was riding at night, so I didn't want to go too fast. Average speed was 16.1 miles an hour. There's your time. A little less than 2 hours. Now this thing's sitting in the sun, so it says it's like 100 degrees out here, which is not. It's like 75 degrees out here. Anyways, another thing I've done to this bike is I installed a very nice headlight. This is a 220 lumen headlight off of Newegg.com. It's one of their Rosewell brand lights, and it comes with this mount, which mounts to the handlebar. Now you can actually get decent headlights now at Walmart. The same manufacturer as the seat actually offers a headlight taillight kit that has the Cree LED lights. So That'd definitely be nice if you're riding at night. I also have these Z-Fowl side view mirrors, which as you can see, they aren't the best. I only paid like $6 a piece for them back in, I think, 2012. But they do the job just fine for riding at night. Now anyways, I mentioned these Surface Seca tires have lasted a very long time. I installed these in 2011, and the bike probably had, I want to say, maybe 1,000 miles at the time, if even that. I took the stock tires off of it right away when I got it and put on some used Michelin tires I had laying around, but those were getting wore out, so I replaced them with these. Now you just saw the bike has 4,200 miles on it now, so these tires have nearly 3,000 miles on them, and they appear to still have quite a bit of tread life left. You can't really, with these, you can't really tell how much tread's left on because they're slicks, and it's hard to tell when these tires are about worn out. As you can see, they have very good flat protection. There was a piece of metal that I picked up off the road. These tires have excellent flat protection. I rarely ever have flat tires because these tires have very good protection in between, you know, the inner tube and treads, that kind of stuff. But just in case I do get a flat, I also have a flat, you know, a flat repair kit. I have an extra inner tube. Yeah, the extra inner tube, a CO2 cartridge with inflator, and some tube levers. We have tire levers. It's hard to close up with one hand. And of course, there's a tail light that I have. It's you know, one of those cheap Bell lights. It does the job just fine. Now, of course, it don't look like bright during the day, but it is pretty bright at night. And in this bag, I keep batteries, ID, and when I go somewhere, I keep my phone in here too. And of course, it's just an actual seat bag that I have, you know, wrapped around here. That I actually have a zip tie holding it on here, so that way I can carry my accessories. Now, this bike still weighs around, I'd say, 25 to 27 pounds. When I stick it on my scale, it says 30, but I know my scale is a few pounds off. So this bike weighs around, let's say, 25 to 27 pounds. This here is actually a camera mount where I can snap in a video camera if I want to do a video ride. Now that I've talked about my past upgrades, I'm going to talk about things I'm planning on doing to this bike. The next thing I'm planning on doing to the bike is replacing this crankset. These are steel cranks. The funny thing is, my 2006 Denali road bike has alloy cranks, stock. This thing does not. These are steel and they're heavy, and they're starting to rust out too. Again, there's the other one. Now on Amazon, I happened to actually find, you know, a 3-ring crankset on Amazon. Same brand as the Air Max wheel set, or at least the hubs anyway. The Vulta brand. I think it's between $40 to $60. It's alloy. It is, I think, 46. I don't know the ratio off my head, but I know the top gear is like 52. I think the next gear down is 42, and the lowest gear is 30. So yeah, 52, 42, 30. Again, the new one that I want to get is alloy, so I take a little bit of weight off here. And I am planning on replacing this seat post. I know it's alloy, but if I can afford it, I might replace that with a carbon seat post. And I happen to notice that Nash Bar has a carbon fiber fork. And I'm planning on replacing that steel fork with a carbon fiber. That'll definitely take some weight off this thing. So yeah, those are the upgrades I have that I'm actually planning on doing. I can't guarantee, but that's what I have in plan anyway. And I don't know if I'm going to replace these pedals or not. They do the job just fine for me. And it's funny, these are the stock pedals. These originally came on this bike, and they have been going for about 4,200 miles. No play whatsoever. They spin just fine. That's one thing I can definitely say that will last on this bike. It's the pedals. And it's funny, they're metal caged, they're steel caged, but they're composite in the center. Not in, at least in my past with these things, composite pedals do not last. So anyways, you're probably curious what I'm going to do with the blue bike. Let's go have a look at it. There's my old Trek Antelope mountain bike that I found behind somebody's house. Got that bike for free after getting permission from the landowner. Yeah, back here is the blue Denali, and it's just sitting back here. I was in the process of upgrading it little by little. There's those Shimano AO50 shifters I was talking about earlier. I slapped them on this bike. I was in the process of upgrading this bike, with new bar tape, these shifters, and those kinds of things. But I said to myself, I kind of prefer to do something a little better than that. And that's if I can afford it. What I would like to do with this bike is possibly go the same route I'm going with the 2010 bike. Go with the Aeromax wheel set, and possibly with a new handlebar, and maybe some STI shifters, though I cannot guarantee that's what's going to happen. There's no guarantees behind that. So what I'm probably going to do to start out is maybe replace the handlebar and use the AO50 shifters, or I might keep the stock bar, not exactly sure. So there's definitely no guarantees what I'm going to do with this thing. One thing it's going to need is some new tires. Those Michelin Dynamics are getting dry rot in them, and they're getting pretty old, so I definitely have to replace those. But anyways, there's a general update on my Denali road bikes. Any questions or comments? Feel free to ask them. Thanks for watching.